So let's start with what are the 7 C's to getting your seat at the table? You can call this 7 R's, you can use whatever terms, but for me, I think it begins with the competencies. And so when you look at yourself, if you were on an elevator with me, would you be able to tell me what you have built? What is your key distinguishing factor? What is your uniqueness? What is your brilliance? What makes you stand out from other people? Who would say yes? Okay, we have books for you. No, this is you have to be able to explain who you are in very concise terms and how you stand out from others. The second is communications. Find your voice. It's like going to a party. I do an annual Christmas party. Carol's been there. I expect every one of my guests to participate at that party. You have to be there at the table with a voice. You have to have an opinion. You don't have to have all the information at your fingertips, but you do have to be able to say, I'll get that information. So if you're sitting at the table, as I was when we took Ambac Financial Group public, it was me, the chairman, and 8 other guys, and I was speaking on human resources and marketing, I had to have an opinion. I didn't have to have all the answers, but I had to get back with an opinion, and I had to stand up and have a voice. And of course, I had come out of Citibank, where at Citibank, if you were a wallflower, you really got bowled over. So you had to be able to have a voice. But having a voice also is about being rational. Have you ever in your business career felt emotional? Has something ever really gotten you angry and excited and you really wanted to lash out? Take a deep breath. Leave your emotions at home, because when you act irrationally, you will get a label, and it's hard to take that away. I had a candidate recently, and I did her references, and she was somebody who had really been attacked along the way. She was head of marketing, and some of the sales guys were really hard on her. She rose above it. She voiced her opinions, she gave the facts, but she did not succumb to their level. She did not get emotional. And that was a constant theme throughout her career. And that's what you need to do, is to be seen as a rational, intelligent expert at what you do. The other thing, though, in terms of communications, when you're making presentations, it's about being concise. It's about making verbal presentations that are direct and to the point. Did you ever hear somebody go on and on and on? And you say, land the plane. Land the plane. Well, women have a tendency, as do men. I'm not going to differentiate here. I think we overlook it with men more, but women do as well. And we say, she's going on and on. So you have to be concise. You have to be to the point. You have to know what you're talking about. But you have to be able to also do that in the written form. And so the communications piece is a really important part. It's one of the chapters that I have in my book on how to be a better communicator. And in communications, it also means being able to chat. There was a coach I know who was working with somebody in my company, and the chairman had said to the coach, when you're talking to Sally about communicating, would you tell her to learn how to chat? Sometimes I just want to chat with her, and she goes right into the numbers or the presentation and is so buttoned up, it becomes uncomfortable. So communications is all about a give and take, and it's about being comfortable with the person, but women need to learn to chat. And the other, with regard to communicating your plan in life, don't wait to be asked to the party. Raise your hand. So when I was at Ambac Financial Group and I was running human resources and I was running facilities, the marketing department, somebody had left, and the chairman gave that position, that responsibility, to the head of technology. And I was really furious, but I was quiet about it. And I said to the chairman, I said, how come you gave it to Randy? He doesn't even like marketing. And Randy said, Janice, I don't have a marketing bone in my body. And the chairman said to me, I didn't know you wanted it. So your voice here has to be, you have to raise your hand. Nobody's a mind reader. You have to let people know that you want that extra responsibility. And so in communicating, it's communications being concise, it's communications raising your hand for the position you want. And so then I had HR, marketing, and facilities, and I was in charge of bathrooms, bonuses, and brochures. I felt great about it. So the other is, some people call it networking. The third to me is champions. We all need champions. And I understand yesterday you were talking about sponsorship as being one of the number one needs that you have. And I couldn't agree more. But how do you get sponsorship? Because sponsorship is about people who are willing to bet on you. And they're putting themselves out. It's their currency that they're using, and they're betting on you. So you want to get those sponsors. And how do you get them? You get them internally, and you get them externally as well. How many of you here are on a not-for-profit board? It's a pretty good number. And how many here are actively speaking at conferences or your professional associations? Okay, more of you need to do that, and even the first, because that's your external network. And if you can get into some conferences and be seen as an expert, you're building your brand, and you're building people who will be champions for you. And whether it be inside your company or outside your company, they will be there building your brand for you. So you need to be active on the external front, and not-for-profit boards, go to ones that you have a passion for. Go to ones that you maybe have some influential people on those boards, they can be helpful to you in getting your seat at the table. But that champion network, you can never have enough. And if you're in a large corporation, you know there's a lot of churn at the top. The average tenure of the CEO is like 3 to 4 years. So that cascades down. So you need to have a lot of champions internally and externally. And we also need to get outside of our own networks. While I want to be part of women's groups, I want to be at the table with the men. We need to work together with men. Men need to see that what we can bring to the table, and we need to help them, and they need to help us. So we need to get outside of our comfort zone and really expand that type of community in which we operate. And champions come because you are also helping people with their agenda. You're giving them credit for what they have done. And you know, when you compliment and you give somebody credit for something, what happens? They're there supporting you. They're there giving you credit. They're touting you. So it goes both ways. Building a champion network, building people who are going to be supportive of you, you have to reach out and be supportive of them as well. And I know we all walk in different shoes, multicultural. We all have, you know, from Swedish to Italian to Indian to Asian. We're all different. But in many ways, people are so alike. And they want to be helpful to others. So I say reach out, because you're going to get a lot of help back. And that's going to help you get a seat at the table.